Hello, everyone. Sussexes are not the tight-knit couple anymore when anyone lives a bad life. In fact, they are bad in society. Then the end result at home will not be much better. And then what? When they break down, their pain will be everyone's joy. Yes, their failure is what we are waiting for. Life always has karma, and it is wonderful that karma is haunting the Harry family. This is clearly shown in the recent antics that have extended to the international market. Given this awful performance over international television, Harry is in the doghouse, and some people could say that they are justified to say that in light of the situation. It goes without saying that we are discussing Meghan and Harry, as well as the specific actions that they are going to take in order to attempt to repair the harm that has been done to their brand. It is true that things will improve over time, even if you are going through a difficult period, if you are feeling a little lurgy, or if you are not feeling your very best. At the end of the day, can't we say that time changes everything? Unless, of course, you are Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. Everything is doctored, dissected, and looked at to the very last moment. However, this is something that some people might say without a doubt. There is no denying that. It was just over a week ago that I learned that Harry and Meghan had a meeting to establish yet another charitable incentive. This is a very weird thing as well, as I pointed out, because given the kind of backdrop to this, it was all about reaching out to each other and looking out for each other. Do you find this announcement ridiculous? Their other charities are not doing well. The reason is that they have embezzled public funds, embezzled charity money for personal purposes, filled Meghan's wardrobe with huge sums of money instead of helping others, and 1,000 other things that we cannot accept. The core is still a lack of trust, so whether they set up 1 or 10 more charities will not succeed and lead to failure. Do you feel the same way? If yes, comment number 1, and if no, comment number 2. It really doesn't work with the popular consensus, given the fact that Meghan's cut her family off. Harry's now been forced to cut his family off, and there they are, talking about being first responders and looking out for each other, and she's prepared to take a hit for this. Nothing but the typical type of claptrap that has no significance whatsoever. However, you should know that the more significant issue that they should be concerned about is this, and according to a source from World Play, their team was not overly pleased with their performance. During the chat, she did not have the vice-like hold that she had on his thigh. This was despite the fact that the interviewer stated, "Of course, I saw you reaching out for his hand, more like his throat." Is it true that he claimed he wasn't playing baseball? Completely. Meghan appeared to be trying to come up with a totally new character, one might say, where she had empathy, while Harry appeared to be bored and disengaged from everything the situation was about. You know, I'm attempting to have a compassionate perspective on the situation. All the while, however, she never really engaged in conversation with the individuals who were seated next to her. She had no knowledge at that moment that these folks, who nobody has been able to track down, which is also fairly fascinating, considering the media's frenzy of seeking after people. Nobody knows where these people are, according to that source. It is clear that she was unaware of this information. One would have expected that they might have wanted to come through and conduct an interview, of course, and basically stated that was the experience, that they were extremely polite, that they couldn't be more welcoming, and that kind of thing. The situation that is currently taking place, however, is that Harry and Meghan are being reprimanded by their management team, and this is certainly the case. It is important to remember that whatever you put out there stays out there, and it appears that they were not impressed by the fact that Harry appeared to be uninterested in the situation. Meghan did not escape the criticism too, since there were times when she was, well, how could he describe this with a more polite expression? I'm going to give him the death gaze because, you know, that's what ladies do when they make a mistake. Can you understand what I'm trying to say? Each and every object was disassembled. Now, some people could argue that this was a serious subject. They couldn't have been fooling about during that staged reality as they did with their engagement video. To be perfectly honest, I completely comprehend that, but it never seemed like they were in perfect harmony, did it? You never once had the slightest inkling that the two of them were willing to support this endeavor in its entirety. I really hope that they are, because it is a great endeavor, and for all of those people who are going through a terrible thing, as well as the parents who are highlighted there, one would surely hope that they are. However, moving forward, this is going to be a problem since it is obvious that she was angry with him, and we are aware that he was angry with her 100%. How are they going to put everything back together for the cameras now? What is the limit of this? Of course, they are able to pay attention to the management teams as well as the individuals who provide them with specific instructions regarding what they should accomplish on camera. Harry and Meghan both believe that they are aware of the best course of action to take. As a matter of fact, they are not in agreement with it, and this is something that is plainly visible to everyone. Furthermore, this is not doing a terribly good job of marketing Rand Sussex. I can clearly feel that Harry is now as trapped as he described his father and brother to be, except in his case, it's a trap with nothing to commend it, and absolutely no discernible way out. Speculation has been for quite a while now that they've not even been living under the same roof anymore for more than a year at least. And it's certainly become clear these last months that when they do appear and put on the all-loved-up act, it really is just an act for the PR optics, probably imposed on them by her newest PR team, trying to salvage what they could. Plus, Meghan has been busy actively distancing herself from the royal-born trophy husband who gave her the platform she couldn't achieve on her own merits. Not just by rushing out that lifestyle brand launch, which remains an empty facade, but more recently by her post-backlash released through Friends' attempt at claiming she'd only attended the Pat Tillman Awards ceremony, where she sat throughout the period between sneaking in late and ostentatiously leaving early, with her usual cat that got the cream grin firmly in place, clutching her prize on the thigh to support her husband and for marital health, thereby risking her reputation because she would have been criticized if she didn't go. I'm sure that's the reason why she clutched Harry with the double claw, for dear life, as he got up to collect his ill-gotten award, in the full expectation he'd drag her onto the stage with him so she could grab the microphone and deliver her usual bowl of word salad, focusing on me, me, me. Perhaps she would have repeated her while in Nigeria cry, "Do you see why I married him? He's so smart." It must have been quite a shock for her when he shook her off without even a glance in her direction, and not once referred to her in his speech. Although he had the audacity to claim he respected Pat Tillman's mother, who'd been furious that the ESPN panel had decided to give her son's memorial award to such a controversial and divisive person, adding insult to injury by going ahead and accepting the award that really belonged to the athletes, while at the same time using the disabled veterans already on the stage as a human anti-booing shield, and not letting go of the award they really deserved. At least he never smiled once. In fact, looked pretty miserable throughout, perhaps because his wife had insisted he collect this latest bought-for addition to their mantelpiece. There is a video of her at some event when she was supposedly so distraught with those thoughts. She was smiling and happy on that night in constant view of the camera. She lies about everything, smiling, alternating with a dead voice and stone-cold body language. A mean, hateful, angry woman out to get revenge on the world. Likewise, by making the disrespectful curtsy, Meghan wanted to hurt Queen Elizabeth, but everything she did harmed herself. Meghan's future is finished. If she was a smart person, that would never have happened. Besides which, she had done a curtsy on that series where she came across as a slut. To be honest, if anyone loved the spare, they would do an intervention on him and get him into rehab for a long stay. He wrote in his book that he abuses hallucinogenic drugs and has conversations with toilets, and the toilets talk back to him. The man-child needs serious help. I could see him pulling the plug. His life has been marked completely. Harry and Meghan already have a successful brand as grifters. They work very hard to keep that brand fresh in everyone's mind. You must remember, living up to a bad name isn't always easy. It's the only thing the vile pair of grifters ever put any effort in for. They are experts at ripping charities off, bullying, and spewing verbal diarrhea, venomous lies, and pathetic innuendos. Moreover, they lie for money. She is a thief, a bully, and a cheat, while his cruelty is beyond belief. It was usually restricted to animals. Poor polo ponies, have you ever seen what he did to them? The blood running down their sides. He is banned now from ever wearing spurs again. And what about the one he rode so hard, even though he was told not to ride it? It not only lost the foal it was carrying, but had to be destroyed. That's your sweet Harry, the druggie, the alcohol abuser, but at least he can rely on his wife and mother to keep him supplied. It's becoming very apparent that those two are barely hanging on. It's a matter of time before they split up. He needs to do it sooner rather than later. He needs to get out before he gets his inheritance, and she is not going to let him out of her tight grasp until she gets her hands on that inheritance. If that marriage survives, it is only going to be out of spite or desperation. That interview was painful. The parts I saw, I didn't want it all, as I just can't stomach her for more than a clip or two. But I watched a body language expert trying to make a case for her not being a raging narcissistic asshole, and though he failed, it was amusing as he ended up making a pretty strong case for her being a sociopath. No empathy for others, inappropriate reactions, facial expressions when discussing a tragic topic, barely concealed rage at being cut off. Yeah, sure. The bottom line is they will divorce somehow. Do you agree with me? Now it's time for you to express your views. Leave them in the comments. Thank you everyone for watching my video. It would be even better if you support us by liking, sharing, and subscribing to the channel. Now goodbye and see you again.